It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Welcome to 2K Sports, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson, sitting alongside the Big Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal, and the prop plane, Kenny Smith. Tonight, we'll be watching the Minnesota Timberwolves playing against the New Orleans Pelicans at Smoothie King Center. Looking at the last game for New Orleans, it was a loss to the Rockets in Houston. They're not satisfied with the record over the last 10 games. Under 500 basketball, just not good enough. Looking to improve tonight. Hold on to your seats, folks. Should be a wild ride. Whoa! Two athletic clubs facing off. Kenny, how do you expect this one to go down?
Woo, lots of highlight reels, lots of highlight reels, lots of highlight reels, and great showmanship.
Should be exciting for the players and the fans. The team that takes care of the basketball will have the edge.
Woo! Okay, time for tip-off. We send it over to...
What are you riding, a horse, Ernie?
Woo! Kevin Harlan.
It's not a roller coaster, is it?
Happy New Year's Eve. Thank you for joining us here on 2K Sports for the NBA. We're all dressed up and ready to go. Alongside Doris Burke and Greg Anthony, this is Kevin Harlan. And on the sidelines, Hall of Famer David Aldridge. This game is part of the travel schedule for Minnesota, winning their last 3 games. They'd like to make that 4 in a row here tonight.
You know what? They're almost perfect in their approach right now. I mean, mentally, physically, strategically, everything seems to have fallen into place. They're bound to hit a bump at some point in the road, but right now, everything is all systems go.
You know, and here's the key. Don't focus on the streak. Focus on continuing to improve every day. That's the best way to keep this thing going.
We are nearly ready for the tip-off, but first, let's hear from our very own David Aldridge. DA, it's all yours.
Well, guys, Karl Anthony Towns has a different disposition than his predecessor and mentor, Kevin Garnett. The KG said of Cat, don't take the smile for weakness. He plays with another type of engine. What they do share, Kevin, is a true love for the game. Back to you.
Outstanding, DA. Thank you. And tonight we'll see 2 teams that are dedicated to the youth movement and the respective clubs. Doris, talk about the biggest challenges for a young player in this game.
Well, the world in basketball is increasingly small, so a lot of young players in the game have faced each other in AAU basketball, or if they've played collegiately, they've faced each other there. So the biggest challenge sometimes for young players is not letting this become a personal matchup with the player you're looking opposite. Basketball's a team game, and while you want to outshine your opponent, you've got to do it within the context and framework of the overall team game.
Good point. We've got a chance here to set the floor, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go for this one. And so in the game for the Timberwolves, Tolliver is inside at the 4, with Towns at the 5. Butler teams with Wiggins as the deadly wing duo. And it's Teague in at the 5. Now Wiggins following Drew Holiday's 3-point attempt. Wiggins surveying the floor. Excellent D there from Mirotic. And it's the Pelicans ball. To the middle, Towns with the steal. Wiggins passes to Teague. Mirotic against Wiggins. He gets stolen by Randall. Outside Holiday. Randall against Towns. And it's Davis finishing it off.
And that's how you make a steal count. Turn it into a quick slam at the other end.
It was really a case, it looked like Greg Anthony right there, if I can say so. It was really a case of a great defensive play triggering some instant offense.
Yeah, and he was so quick to break on that one. A good sign that he read the play. Listen, Kev, this guy, one of the more reliable scorers in the league, night in and night out.
Knocked away. And it goes out of bounds. That one off Butler. Butler against Moore. The first quarter of action, 2 minutes in. Here's Davis. Kept alive. Randall laid in with a nice touch off the glass.
Well, so rewarding for a player to beat everybody to the basketball and convert that second chance bucket.
T kicks to Tolliver. Deflects the pass, and that's out of bounds. Minnesota will retain possession.
Here's a look at some stats for Jeff Teague. How his last 10 games have gone. He's right around 9 points a night, 3 assists and 2 rebounds. And those numbers, solid, not spectacular, and sometimes what you see is what you get.
There's no doubt. This is a guy who understands his role, knows he's got to give you quality minutes, and that's what they expect from him.
Now here's Wiggins. He had 13 points in the win against Miami.
And we got to talk about his 4 steals on the night. That's a complete performance at both ends of the floor.
Now Randall, after Jimmy Butler missed from long range. T kicks to Butler. And the call on the shot that sends him to the line.
You know, guys, you think about Jimmy Butler, drafted by the Chicago Bulls, and he goes from bench warmer to star. And I always had the sense that once Tom Thibodeau was no longer a part of the Chicago Bulls organization, that Jimmy Butler's days might be numbered there as well. But I think the trade ended up working for both teams.
And he makes the first. And Doris, the Bulls are trying to change the culture, more run and gun. That new style didn't really mesh with Butler's approach.
Right. You remember, Jimmy Butler is a Tibbs disciple. Even he has said perhaps he was too confrontational. With that obsessive drive of his, it can sometimes maybe rub people the wrong way. I think he's trying to balance that intensity with positivity with this young group. I'll tell you, he's coming through for them at the free throw line today. His form has been perfect.
And Davis puts it in. Davis has got his second bucket tonight.
And the soft jump shot there of Davis. You got to respect his perimeter game.
Towns down low. Randall on him. And Towns gets it to go.
And where's the help? Obviously, a missed rotation, something they're going to want to patch up.
Right, because otherwise you're going to give up those close range opportunities all night. If you allow the opposition to get into a groove, look out.
First quarter of action, just under 3.5 minutes played. Wiggins outside. Towns against Randall. And Teague has it in the corner. Kept alive, Minnesota. Good.
He doesn't let that possession go to waste, Kev. He's going to feed on those second chance opportunities. Boy, that's pretty work.
And Holiday kicks to Mirotic. Clock at 6. Floats one. And out of bounds as the Timberwolves gain possession. Around halfway through the season, and a chance here to recap where all the teams in the West sit in the standings. Look at New Orleans. They're having a solid season. 5th in the conference and looking to move up. And, of course, Minnesota, just a couple spots back.
And I think for New Orleans, they've done a good job staying relevant this season. I mean, I was concerned they'd suffer a drop-off, but give them credit. They've hung in here in this playoff race.
Resiliency has been crucial for this team. Anytime it looks like they may start to drag a little bit, they've picked it back up and stayed in the hunt.
And the fadeaway was the only option he had on that one. Defender there all over.
And there's the foul. It's on Towns. That is his first foul of the game. Butler against Moore. Holiday surveying the floor. 6 on the shot clock. Pass to Davis. over Teague. Another one falls for New Orleans. And so it's Teague with it. He'll bring it up for Minnesota. They trail by 3. Passes it to Tolliver. Here's Butler. That one dropped for his second bucket. Mark him 2 for 4.
That's exactly what you want right there. Jimmy Butler being aggressive on the interior.
And first time out of the game called for New Orleans. Well, so much great defense has come from the shooting guard position over the years. And here's a rundown of the players wreaking havoc at that spot this year. Number 1, Jimmy Butler.
You know, he's often forced to guard the opposition's top player on the perimeter, and still he's made his way all the way up the steals list.
You know, I'm not sure there's a defensive assignment in this league that he couldn't handle with relative ease. That's how disruptive he is. It is impossible for an opposing player to find a comfort zone when he's the guy guarding them.
For Minnesota, they've gone 4 for 9 from the field to start this game off, and they'll keep possession. Right wing. Towns kicks to Butler. Just 5 on the clock. Second shot opportunity. Basket good. Butler's got 8 points.
Well, the pick and roll game of Jimmy Butler gets better every year. He has a better and better understanding of what to take advantage of.
Just his first attempt. Mirotic gets the bucket.
Probably wasn't the shot they were looking for, but they'll take the bucket.
The Timberwolves trail. Outside Teague. Kicks to Towns. Lays it in without an inch of room around him. Towns has got his second bucket of the game to go.
And there's a pattern starting to take shape here. They're working it inside and getting good shots from close range.
It's Davis on the wing. New Orleans moving it around. Mirotic against Wiggins. Mirotic inside. Wiggins with some nice D. Pass to Towns. Outside Teague. There's the dish to Wiggins. Knocked loose. Moore with the steal. Mirotic finds Holiday. Back to Mirotic. Shot clock at 6. Fires the 3. Rebound by Butler. Minnesota in the lead. Lets it fly from 18. And it's rebounded by Drew Holiday.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to give your offense a chance, and that possession didn't do it.
Not at all, Greg. I mean, no reason for him to be taking these kinds of shots. He has only himself to blame.
Moore passes to Davis. And again, New Orleans has no luck.
Cannot believe he missed that. I'm sure he can't either.
I agree. Butler dishes to Teague. Wiggins outside. From beyond the arc, it's good from long range. Wiggins has got himself on the board with 3 there.
This guy gets up in the air so smoothly. Andrew Wiggins, a nice foundation for that shot.
Outside Holiday. Outside Mirotic. Trying to get something going. And out of bounds it is. Last touch by Mirotic.
A moment here to see the stats for Butler. His last 10 games have been exceptional. 3rd in steals, 6th in free throw percentage. And he's a flamethrower from distance. Top 10 in the league in three-point shooting.
And it's his lightning-quick hands that have put him in the top 3 in steals. Also his tremendous anticipation. He's constantly all over the basketball. So the Timberwolves called their first timeout. Last time they met was in Minnesota.
And with your defense, one part's your ability. The other, though, is effort. And in that one, they showed neither.
No, there's no question, Greg. I thought their defensive intensity was lacking from the outset. It looked like they were just hoping the other team would miss.
Catching up on the changes for New Orleans. Okafor is checked in for Julius Randle. Solomon Hill comes in for Mirotic. Ian Clark's checked in for Ejuan Moore. And it's Elfrid Payton in for Drew Holiday. Okogie, and the layup's good off the glass. And the Timberwolves lead by 6.
I'll tell you, somebody on the defensive end has got to step in and try to get a body on him there.
And Gorgui Dieng is going to pick up the foul. That is his first foul of the game. Hill kicks to Payton.
And trailing here in the first, you'd like to see them be a little more aggressive on the offensive glass.
Well, the height advantage in this matchup becomes a big factor when he's in the low box. Well, it's been nothing short of a roller coaster, obviously, for Jahlil Okafor. What we know, guys, is he can be a scorer in the NBA and score it at a high level. I think his future is contingent on, can he defend in the NBA? That's the only question.
Rose against Payton. Outside for Davis. That's in, coming off an assist from Payton. That's now 8 points for Davis.
Well, you can see he's feeling it right now. Shots dropping from all over the place this quarter.
From deep, Rose. It's rebounded by New Orleans. Tough loss coming against the Rockets in the last game they played.
And they had a ton of missed opportunities at the foul line. That's always a game changer.
I think it's impossible for fans to understand why you can't shoot a higher percentage when there's no defense on you, right? Quality free throw shooting so crucial to winning.
2 on the clock. Okafor. And the rejection by Towns. Shoots from 12. The putback. Great positioning on the putback. Dieng's got his first points of the night.
Yeah, you can't afford to let Gorgui Dieng float around on the offensive glass. He's going to find a way to hurt you.
Fires from 18. Out of bounds. Minnesota takes possession.
Ouch, that's a wasted possession. Got to shake it off and forget it happened, guys.
.59 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Rose kicks to Towns. Pelicans trail by 6. There's the pass to Okafor. On the wing, Hill. Back to Okafor. And then Okafor slams it in.
And the definition of teamwork right there on that alley-oop.
And, Greg, what about the finish? Bringing it down with some thunder. Yeah. And a tremendous Unleash Chaos replay coming to you courtesy of Under Armour Hover Havoc. That one good for 2. And the Timberwolves lead by 6.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
Payton finds Davis. Back to Payton. Outside Hill. Fade away. That's in. That's his 5th field goal. He's shooting a hot 71%. 5 for 7. Pass to Towns. Just 3 on the clock. It's not going to go for him. And so the first quarter is in the books. Minnesota on top, up by 4. We'll get things started in the second quarter when we return. The trade deadline is approaching, and Jimmy Butler talked about how it feels hearing your name in trade rumors.
Feelings are different for everybody, to tell you the truth. For me, I don't think about it because whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You go out there and control what you can control. You know, try to help your team win games, play to the best of your abilities. And if it just so happens you get traded, then you got to suit up and play for the next team.
Staying level-headed and ready for whatever's next. That's Jimmy's mindset, Greg, in a nutshell.
And it's fair to say that the level of professionalism and maturity he possesses is really impressive.
And we're getting back to the action in our New Year's Eve broadcast. And what do you guys think about Minnesota here in this one?
I mean, they're winning the turnover battle, and oftentimes that can swing things your way.
Well, you really like the activity on the defensive end. Outstanding, jumping into passing lanes and coming up with steals.
We've got Solomon Hill, Ian Clark out there with Payton. Then there's Jahlil Okafor, and it's Miller in at the 3 slot. That's the Pelicans 5. And it's sent back by Hill. Payton surveying the floor. Takes a 3. It's rebounded by Towns.
Well, he's got a great stroke. That one almost dropped.
Shoots a 3. Gets the three-pointer to fall. He's got 5. Here's Payton. Nothing yet on the scoreboard for him. He feeds it to Hill. Back to Payton. Dishes to Hill. Offline with his 3. Timberwolves leading by 5. Okogie gets a very good look and converts. Looking at Minnesota, they took the win in their last game against the Heat at the American Airlines Arena. Hill against Jang. Outside Hill. He dishes it to Miller. And again, no good by New Orleans. Passes to Nunley. Right side Jones. He kicks it to Towns. Nice ball movement by Minnesota. Fires from 14. It's rebounded by New Orleans.
You almost have to assume he's going to knock those down when he is that open.
Well, you think about the Minnesota Timberwolves becoming one of the premier offensive teams in the league. They have a huge advantage in free throw attempts and limiting turnovers, 2 things that have really set this group apart. I'll tell you, that play was not as easy as he made it look. A moving target, it has to be perfectly placed, really pretty.
Now here's Payton. He's been quiet so far, still no points in the game. And again, no good by New Orleans. And Doris, you look at the Wolves offense, have they maxed out how good they can be?
I think one area they have to look at is in this age of the three-pointer, they were one of the league's lowest in three-point attempts. To me, they've got to boost that number, and I think they also need to look to attack in transition. They've certainly got enough weapons.
Here's Towns, following the basket by Elfrid Payton. Back to Towns. Over Okafor. Off the left rim and out. And here's Payton. He'll bring it up for New Orleans. 7-point differential. Here's Hill. Up and in on the layup. Hill's got his first points of the night.
I'll tell you, that's an assist that shows great sense for where his teammates want to move.
Pass to Nunley. Kicks it to Jang. Over Payton. And the rebound goes to the Pelicans. Okafor's got 4 rebounds now tonight. Down low. Hill passes to Miller. Here's Clark. Launches it. Rebound Minnesota. Jang's got 4 rebounds in this game. Here's Towns. And yep, finally drops after rolling around the rim. Towns has got 8.
I mean, guys, how good is the form and the release? Karl Anthony Towns, capable in the mid-range as well.
Okafor in the post, defended by Towns.
Boy, what a nice carom there, guys. He can really use that size and length to his advantage.
A chance there to push it to double digits, but it's off the mark. Hill kicks to Miller. Payton up top. The feed now to Hill. Inside, Okafor. And then Okafor slams it in.
And if that doesn't get them fired up, guys, nothing will.
Greg, just what the doctor ordered, huh? Some high-flying antics to narrow the deficit.
Yeah, and an example of why you want to let the game come to you. The opening presented itself, he converted in a big way.
And Okafor with the block. And they'll keep possession. Clock at 6. Towns is doubled. And Elfrid Payton with the foul. That is his first foul of the game. New Orleans making a switch here. Holiday's checked in. The Timberwolves also with the sub. Butler's checked in. Three-pointer. Offensive rebound. And Zhang gets it to go. He's got 6.
Well, the thought was Zhang would never be much of a scorer, but I think he's changing people's minds.
Payton kicks to Okafor. And the foul called on Tyus Jones. That's his first foul. So for the Pelicans, Julius Randle's checked in for Solomon Hill. Mirotic comes in for Miller, and it's Etuan Moore checking in for Payton. Outside Mirotic. There's the 3. Rebound by Zhang. Zhang's got 6 rebounds here tonight. To the inside, Tolliver. The shot's good on the assist by Butler. Tolliver's got the lead up to 9 now for Minnesota.
Really well done on that assist. He sees the target inside and puts it right into the hands.
To the middle, here's Okafor. Rebound by Zhang. Minnesota's gone 1 of 4 from three-point range in the second. Not a whole lot dropping out there for them. Wiggins kicks to Tolliver. The pass to Wiggins. Five on the clock. The kick outside to Butler. There's the basket and make it a double-digit lead. And now it's a 12-point Timberwolves lead. Now a timeout called by New Orleans. A lot of responsibility, Doris, in being the focal point of an offense. What characteristics have you seen are shared among NBA players who carry the load offensively for their teams every game?
Right. This is a great separation point to me in the NBA because there are a lot of outstanding players at the level on any given night in the NBA. But, Kevin, there is a select few players who are willing to share the lion's share of the responsibility. Men like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook. Like, you have to be prepared 82 times per year to step between the lines, shoulder the load, and sometimes when you underperform, to bear the criticism that comes with that responsibility. And Kevin, you know this. That's a select few player who's willing to absorb that.
Good thoughts. Zhang, no luck.
Well, he continues to have trouble with his shot, well below 50% from the field in this period.
Knocks it loose. Randle with the ball. Tolliver on him. Got a piece of it. Outside Rose to the inside. The kick outside to Butler. Timberwolves passing it around. Back to Zhang. Over to the left wing. Here's Rose. Will not go. This is off the front iron. Pelicans trail by 10. Moore outside. To the right side. Holiday with it. Working on Tolliver. From 7, Davis with the bucket. Davis has got it back down to within single digits for the Pelicans.
If there's a list of the best inside scorers in the NBA, Davis has got to be right at the top. When he gets his hands on the ball down low, you might as well just count it.
Here is Tolliver. He's looking for Wiggins and finds him. Over Randle. And it's Wiggins missing.
That's the kind of D you need when he's got the ball near the hoop. They were all over him.
And that one's good by Davis.
Sometimes trailing in the game, players get sucked into trying to make that home run play.
Holiday against Rose. Here's Tolliver, and 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact. That one on Davis.
And really the defense fouling there to prevent the layup, but that's exactly what you need to do.
Minnesota shooting their 3rd and 4th free throw attempts of the game. The first one falls. Tolliver hits them both. Holiday with it. He had 27 points last game. Outside Mirotic. Here's the teardrop. And he gets the bucket. Randall's got his 2nd bucket of the night.
And turning down what would have been a tough shot for himself into an easy one for his teammate.
Now here's Butler. A 20-point game for him in the win against the Heat in Miami.
You know, he was also one of their key contributors on the glass. His effort was terrific.
Just not there from a rhythm standpoint right now. It's really eluding him.
Timberwolves leading by 5. Wiggins outside. And that'll be 2 free throws coming up. Officials on the call with the foul.
I think the one constant with Tom Thibodeau is you can always hear his voice the entire game. Doesn't matter if you're up 20 or down 20, you will hear Tom Thibodeau on the sideline.
And he knocks down the first one. And hearing Coach Tom Thibodeau, some have described his voice as part growl, part bark.
He's very intense, Kevin. And I think the one thing you know about Tom Thibodeau, he likes to say, there is a price to pay. It's all about the work you put in.
He's off on the second.
I think Wiggins will always be remembered in that monster trade for Kevin Love a while ago. You don't see many trades like that in the NBA.
Now here's Moore. Still looking for his first bucket in this one. Yep, that one goes.
And just showing you his determination despite the size difference.
I mean, how does he get that shot off? I mean, he had to angle that perfectly to get past the defender.
Here is Tolliver. 6 points for him. On the wing, Wiggins. Shoots over Mirotic. And Gorgui Dieng is going to pick up the foul. That's foul number 2 for him. And here's New Orleans now. They're on an 11-3 run. And Holiday kicks to Mirotic. Kick out to Moore. Trying to get open as Davis. That's tipped.
Well, he gets the separation he needs. You can't say the same for his aim, though.
Butler against Moore. A fader. And it's Butler missing. Pelicans trail by 4. Left side, Mirotic. Bangs home the trifecta. Mirotic has got 5 now.
Well, he's got wonderful touch from deep, right? And with his size, a defender has a hard time even bothering him on the perimeter.
Wiggins outside. And that'll be 2 free throws coming up. Officials on the call with the foul.
Well, Well, Wiggins, one of those guys who draws fouls at an excellent rate.
The Timberwolves have shot a good percentage from the free throw line so far. They've made 5 out of 6.
And they've had really good numbers all season from the free throw line.
That one is off.
And didn't have a single free throw in that first quarter, but he started to play with a little bit more of an edge to his game here in the second.
Here's what Minnesota's going with right now. Towns, he's checked in for Jang. And it's Teague in for Jimmy Butler. Good on the second free throw.
Yeah, nice job of drawing the contact and creating opportunities at the line.
The Pelicans trail. Moore right side. Pass to Holiday. Davis against T. Shot clock at 5. Davis inside. Towns on him. Out of bounds. Minnesota takes possession. So for the Timberwolves, their last game a win against the Miami Heat. And here is Teague. He's gotten some minutes, but nothing on the board yet. 1 second left, and that one's good. Towns.
Come on now, this guy is so tough to contain. Karl Anthony Towns, such touch inside.
And that'll do it for the first half. A competitive game so far. Timberwolves lead by 4. And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Kevin, thanks. Here with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy, you have come a long way in this league. When you look at your career now versus when you came in, how different is it?
Much different. I think on the floor, I'm supposed to do a lot more on both ends of the floor. And off the floor, I think it's still the same. People recognize my hair.
Well, it is a unique style, Jimmy. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. And we'll be back after halftime as the third quarter gets underway.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hey, folks. Welcome back. This is Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith, Shaquille O'Neal at 2K Sports. Let's talk first half. It was a closely contested first quarter for Minnesota. They never trailed by more than 3 points, and it was neck and neck the entire period. The second quarter was dead even in terms of their scoring output from both teams, and they still find themselves in a good position at the half. And, Kenny, what did you see out there from the Timberwolves?
Well, one place they had the edge was on the offensive boards. They converted those extra possessions into points. Nothing is more demoralizing to a defense than forcing a miss and then giving up a second attempt. The offensive glass is going to pay big dividends for them.
And over to the big fella, your thoughts on the Pelicans?
Well, a lot of their points came in transition. They dictated the pace of the game. It was a fast pace. Put the defense back on its heels. I say keep attacking the second half. Do not slow down.
And that's going to do it for our halftime show, sadly. Third quarter about to start. See you again after the final.
Horn. Oh, buzzer.
Welcome back to New Orleans, everyone. Glad to have you with us tonight as we take a peek at all the happenings just outside of Bourbon Street. We've got second half action for you, and if the next couple quarters are similar to the first, this one could go down to the last possession. Anthony Davis really making a difference here.
And I loved in that first half that they were patient, looked for good shots, and knocked them down.
You know, I think, Greg, they never settled for the first look. It was always about let's get the best shot possible, really good judgment on the offensive end.
And we're halfway through this one. Plenty of basketball left in a game that's been fairly even so far. Pelicans trail by 4. Here's who Tom Thibodeau is starting the second half with. Tolliver is inside at the 4 with Towns at the 5. Teague runs the point with Butler at his side. They're the backcourt. And it's Wiggins in at the 3. Doris, when you talk about coaching, aside from wins and losses, how can you gauge if a coach is doing a good job?
Well, you make a great point, Kevin, because if an organization is in a rebuild situation, then winning is almost impossible because you're outgunned and outmanned every single night. So to evaluate those coaches, here are the things I would look at. 1, are you maximizing the talent at your disposal? Are your player development skills at such a degree that you're seeing incremental improvement from the guys on your roster? And then ultimately, Kevin, are guys playing hard? Are they competitive every night? Even if the wins don't necessarily show in the box score and at the end of the regular season, the reality is, are you playing hard? Are you competitive?
Now here's Randall after the miss from Karl Anthony Towns and the rejection by Towns. To the paint, here's Butler. Fouled on the shot and picks up 2 points, so 1 free throw coming up.
Well, that's the level of tenacity that Jimmy Butler brings to the game. Finishes through contact as well as anyone, maybe short of LeBron James.
In Andrew Wiggins and Jimmy Butler, 2 pretty different stories for these Timberwolves teammates.
About as opposite as you could get in terms of your entry into the NBA. Andrew Wiggins, the former #1 overall pick. Jimmy Butler, the 30th pick. Wiggins is the son of professional athletes, a blue-chip prospect. Butler's background, a guy who's had to scrap and claw his way every step of the way. So interesting to see how these two grow together and work together to help this team win.
Now here is Holiday. Poked loose, and that's out of bounds. New Orleans will retain possession. Now let's check out the rebounds and where they're coming from. Here's a breakdown showing the front court and the back court rebounding numbers for the Timberwolves.
And it's been the bigs doing most of the work on the glass, and really no surprise there. That's what you pay those guys for, to control that paint and haul in those misses.
Now here is Holiday. The stupendous finish in traffic. Holiday's got 7 points.
And, you know, he's not usually the guy to break out the crossover. Worked for him that time, but I'm not sure I would be doing that consistently.
Towns against Randall. Towns down low. Just 5 to shoot. Teague inside the line. Rebounded by Moore. Moore's got his 4th rebound in this one. Outside, Davis. Passes it to Mirotic. Over Wiggins. Another one falls for New Orleans.
That's one of his specialties, just squaring up from medium range.
You know, Greg, what a luxury to have a guy with size who can make that shot.
Now here's Teague. He's been patient so far. Nothing on the scoreboard yet. Wiggins outside. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here.
And while we have a chance, how about the numbers for Davis? He's right around 29 points a night, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists. And with his ability to put the ball in the bucket, he has to be your primary focus defensively.
I think defenses plan to stop him, but very few succeed, Greg. And that's why he's his team's leading scorer.
First one falls for him. And both free throws good for Wiggins. 2 minutes gone in this 3rd quarter now. And Holiday kicks to Mirotic. Back to Holiday. For the lead. They get it back. Davis on the follow. Davis has got the game tied up here for New Orleans.
Just so resourceful as a player. Davis gets the job done inside in all sorts of ways, and that's one of them right there, crashing the offensive glass, getting that second chance bucket. And guys, the D has to show a little more fight on the interior than they did on that trip.
Here's Holiday. Kick out to Moore. To the middle. Davis dishes to Randall. Outside Holiday. They get a hand on it. And now Minnesota on the fast break. And it's Butler with the jam.
I'll tell you better protect the basketball around Jimmy Butler. The anticipation skills, he'll pick it clean from you.
Now a timeout called by New Orleans. You look at Jimmy Butler. He's really been playing well.
I think one of the things at the top of the list in this timeout discussion has got to be the amount of room they're giving him to operate. You've got to get more bodies on him to try to disrupt his rhythm.
Darius Miller, he's checked in for Mirotic. And we always talk about getting good looks. Here's who's doing the best of it in the NBA. Third is Karl Anthony Towns.
And just so reliable offensively. It's one thing to find good looks, but you've got to finish when you get them, and he does at a fantastic rate.
Randall outside. Holiday finds Davis. And the call will go against Anthony Tolliver. That is his first foul of the game. Randall down low, defended by Towns.
You can see with the contest right there that defensively Towns arrived in the NBA prepared to make an impact.
Teague, the pass to Wiggins. Feeds it to Tolliver. Lays it up, and despite of the excellent defense at that. And now a 6-point Timberwolves lead. The Pelicans have gone 4 of 9 from the floor so far in the third. And Moore kicks to Holiday. Tipped away. Pass to Davis. And again, no good by New Orleans.
I guess even he has to miss one of those once in a while.
Holiday against Teague. There's the pass to Butler. Over Moore. And the Timberwolves tack on 2 more.
He has not missed a shot in this quarter. They've tried running different things at him, but he's been unstoppable.
They need a bucket in a big way here to regain some confidence.
Davis, the pass to Randall. And Randall throws it down.
My goodness, he is such a great dunker.
Greg, a high riser, no doubt about it. Teague deciding where to go with it. Here's Butler. A second chance effort. Tolliver, no luck.
Boy, great job protecting the rim and turning an easy layup into a missed opportunity.
Here's Randall. That's good, and it's Miller with the assist. And now just a 4-point Timberwolves lead.
He's been heating it up since the break, getting some excellent looks right now.
T kicks to Butler. Tries a 3, and another 3 for Minnesota.
Well, this to me is one of the best aspects of Teague's game. He is an exceptional catch-and-shoot guy.
Miller against Wiggins. Miller finds Randall. Shoots over Towns. Randall no good. And so it's Wiggins with it. He'll bring it up for Minnesota. They've held a 12-point lead earlier. Whistle blows. Bucket is good. And he'll have a chance at the line to make it a 3-point play.
Well, Andrew Wiggins is a talented prospect. On the offensive end, he is as scary as it gets.
The Timberwolves have shot 9 of 11 at the free throw line. A big group substitution here for New Orleans. Okafor is checked in for Randall. Hill comes in for Anthony Davis. Clark, he's checked in for Ejuan Moore.
What's shot,
and it's Payton in for Drew Holiday. And that one misses. Look at the state of the game. International leagues getting better and better, Doris. There's no doubt about it. We see it at Olympic times and during FIBA play in between. We see a lot of NBA players who have spent time abroad, and I think they come back better.
I don't think there's any doubt about that, Kevin. I think wherever you can hone your craft and do it in a competitive environment where winning and losing is at stake on a nightly basis, it has so many opportunities for learning and growth. So, okay, I can't turn it over 5 times in a competitive environment, regardless of what league I'm playing in, because that's to the detriment of my team. If I'm lazy on the defensive end, I'm going to get exposed by good offensive players. To me, Kev, I love any time there's competitive basketball being played. I want to watch it.
Love that answer. Clark kicks to Payton. Miller outside. Payton left side. Will it go? Rebounded by the Timberwolves. Lets it go from deep. Nunley's shot is good.
Impressive awareness from Karl Anthony Towns. Dependable at finding teammates with a terrific look there.
Jones against Payton. Miller outside. And again, no good by New Orleans.
And they've just tried everything to stem the tide here, but nothing seems to work.
Greg, I think this other team is just in a zone right now. They're clicking on the offensive end, and the defense starting to look frustrated.
Now here's Payton. He's a good contributor to his team, averaging about 10.5 points a game. The shot from the low post is good.
Well, that's really good strength on that finish by Elfrid Payton. Nice job to embrace the contact.
Jones with the bounce pass. Kicks to Towns. Over Okafor. Pulled the shot a little left, but the bounce goes his way. Towns has got the lead up to 14 now for the Timberwolves. They could use a big shot here to get this offense going.
Too many empty possessions. Right now, they need a basket.
It's stolen by Jones. And keeping us updated from the sideline, let's swing it over to David Aldridge.
Well, it is the era of positionless basketball, but how exactly did we get here? Well, new defensive rules at the turn of the century encouraged face-up scoring, motion-based offense, and guard play over isolation and post-ups. As a result, offensive roles have become more interchangeable.
It has become a positionless game now. David, thank you very much. Drew Holiday, he's checked in for New Orleans. The free throw drops for Towns.
You know, Karl Anthony Towns has said he wants to be considered the best player in the league. He's got the offensive game, the versatility, the length, the mobility. Let's see what happens.
Rose, he's checked in for Minnesota. Minnesota on D. 17-point lead, their biggest. Payton against Jones. A floater and the rejection by Towns. Okafor gets the bucket. Minnesota's gotten a lot of looks from outside tonight. 5 of 12. Okogie guarded by Holiday. And Towns gets it to go. Towns has got 9 points now in just the second half.
Guys, his consistency in terms of shooting has really helped them seize control.
Miller kicks to Okafor. Hill left side. Just 5 on the clock. New Orleans needs to get off a shot. Okogie guarded by Holiday. Draws contact on the shot, and now a three-point play chance as he'll head to the line. The Timberwolves shot 10 of 13 from the free throw line. Mirotic is checked in for New Orleans.
One shot.
And so it's New Orleans with it. Outside Holiday. Outside Mirotic. Lets the three fly. And Jones pulls it down. Timberwolves leading by 20.
Well, think about the Minnesota native Tyus Jones. His poise at the point guard spot is what stands out to me, guys. Here's a terrific IQ and an unbelievable sense for how to run a team. Tyus Jones, we're just getting the best of him now.
Here's Payton after the basket by Minnesota. Outside Mirotic. To the paint. Stolen by Rose. Okogie. Excellent D there from Okafor. And Tyus Jones, Doris, won a national championship at Duke. He was the outstanding player in the Final Four, but only the 24th pick in 2015. What caused him to slip?
Well, I think one of the questions you had was athletically, could he match up at the point guard position in today's NBA? But I think what you absolutely love about Tyus Jones, just as you stated, he won a national championship. This guy has been a winner. And I think his skill level, the intangibles, his ability to run a team, there's a lot to like about this young man's game.
Just 2 to shoot. And once again off the mark by Minnesota.
Boy, that's just the kind of tight defense you need to play on him. Any kind of room at all, and he'll bury it.
Payton. And he drops in the layup off the glass. Payton's got 4 points now in the quarter.
Boy, at 6'4", Elfrid Payton has great size at his position and uses it to his advantage to score inside.
Here's Rose. Will not go. This is off the front iron. Pelicans trail by 20. Holiday with the three. Buries it from three-point range. Holiday's got 10.
A good look there, and he didn't waste it. His second three of the game.
Back to Towns. 40 seconds left in the third. And Zhang kicks to Jones. Outside, Towns. Nailed from three-point land. Towns has got 12 points in just the second half. And here's Holiday, who will bring it up for the New Orleans Pelicans. A rebound by the Timberwolves. Towns has got rebound number 13 for him here tonight. Back to Jones. Here's Rose. Not going to go that time. Holiday with the defensive effort. Over Jones. Again, Holiday missing. And so it's Minnesota closing out the quarter with a 20-point lead. And they've created a bunch of turnovers with that terrific D. And don't go away. We'll be right back. While we have the chance now, folks, let's go to our State Farm assist of the game.
And, you know, you can always count on him for at least a couple of these pretty assists over the course of a game. And this one, a thing of beauty.
Well, G.A., you know a thing or two about a point guard's job. Set the table for your teammates. Done there perfectly.
And 1 quarter to go in a game that to this point has not been an evenly fought contest. Minnesota leading by 20. Payton and Holiday are together in the backcourt. Randall out there with Jahlil Okafor. And it's Mirotic in at the small forward position. That's the Pelicans 5. The Pelicans shooting well. They're at 45%. Butler with the steal. Doris, when you view international basketball, 13 and 14-year-olds playing in academies, some players turning pro overseas at 16, Would something like that work in this country?
You know what, Kevin? I'm not necessarily for something like this. What I do believe is the NBA could become more involved across the board, and we should have more uniformity in basketball in general. And I think one of the ways to do that is to make sure we set up some sort of basketball committee across the different levels of basketball, starting with youth, going to high school, into college, then the semi-professional sort of basketball leagues out there, or the formative leagues like the G League, and then the NBA. I think we just need to look at the game in its totality and create some measure of uniformity. But frankly, I don't love the idea of 13 and 14-year-olds leaving their home to go to, quote, sport academies.
Just 5 to shoot for the 3. And out of bounds it is. Last touch by Mirotic. Some changes for New Orleans. Anthony Davis comes in for Okafor. And it's Etuan Moore checking in for Drew Holiday. The Timberwolves also changing it up. Anthony Tolliver. He's checked in for Gorgui Dieng. Andrew Wiggins comes in for Tyus Jones. And it's Teague in for Derrick Rose. Teague dishes to Wiggins. Tries it from 9. And Towns the bucket on the assist by Teague. And now 24 points for Karl Anthony Towns. Some tough offensive sets. They want to turn it around.
Yeah, right now you just need a bucket to get some momentum.
Teague against Payton. Moore right side. Cans it from downtown.
Well, what you want to see from Elfrid Payton are floor general skills on full display. Finds the open teammate. Nice.
Now here's Teague. We've seen, Doris, the NBA take a very active role in growing the game internationally. Talk about some of the specifics you've seen in that regard.
Well, I think you have a great leader at the top in Adam Silver, who understands that the game is growing on an international stage. It's becoming increasingly popular. And so you see NBA teams going over and playing regular season games in different countries. That's one particular way. Then you have the NBA Cares initiative, which when those teams are over there, they can go out and build basketball academies. NBA in Africa is a once-a-year trip, and they bring 2 teams of NBA players. Think about some of the players off of that continent where they have turned into legit stars. So I think it's important that the game continue to develop, and I love that the NBA considers it part of their responsibility.
Now, gentlemen, 2 shots. 2 shots.
Free throw good. Teague. Jeff Teague replacing Ricky Rubio at the point guard position for the Timberwolves. Doris, did you like that change?
You know what I did, Kevin? They're drastically different players. Rubio probably the better defensive player, definitely the more prolific passer, but the shooting was always an issue. Where with Teague, you get a guy who can knock down three-point shots, and he's one of the best point guards in the league at dribble driving into the paint and getting some action off that.
Payton outside. And Mirotic kicks to Davis. Doris, what is your solution to the controversy surrounding one and dones?
Kevin, I believe the one and dones will be a thing of the past, and I think it will happen shortly. And the reason that can now become a viable option is the G League holds the key. You can now allow players to enter into the minor league straight out of high school. If they raise the salary of those G League players, then it helps across the board.
Catching up on the changes for New Orleans. Troy Williams checked in for Mirotic. Ian Clark comes in for Etuan Moore. And it's Jackson in for Elfrid Payton.
Yeah, clearly a foul of frustration right there.
New Orleans making a switch here. Miller's checked in.
Darius Miller.
A look at the clock. A little under 3.5 minutes gone here in the fourth. A nice shot by Teague.
And a nice spark for their offense here in the second half. Now above 50% for the game.
Jackson against Teague. Clark, the pass to Williams. Inside. Jackson misses. And it's Teague with the ball, but he brings it up for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've played a great fourth quarter defensively, allowing only 3 points. Now here's Teague. And here's the upcoming schedule for New Orleans. On Wednesday, they'll tip off a road trip in Brooklyn where they'll take on the Nets. Then on Saturday, they'll take on Kevin Love and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
You know, some might look ahead at the schedule and start marking off how many wins they'll wind up with, but I think that's a trap. You can't take any nights off in the NBA, and you've got to stay in the moment.
First one falls for him.
And one difference this half is that when they get to the line, they're converting.
And so Teague hits 2 free throws.
And that puts him right around 90 from the free throw line. Really good work here in the second half.
Here's Clark. Davis in the corner. Outside Jackson. Clock at 6. Davis kicks to Jackson. Clark for 3. Minnesota with the rebound. Here's Nunley. The kick out to Teague. Pass to Bates-Diop. In the corner, it's Tolliver. Dang looking it over from deep three-point range. And once again off the mark by Minnesota. And now running up the court, Miller pushing it up. Hits the three-point bomb. 20 points for Davis.
And good passing, setting up a lot of these buckets right now, Kevin. That's been the key.
Teague, the pass to Tolliver. Kept alive, Minnesota, and it's in there.
Another bucket down low. They've been the aggressors, taking the ball inside and attacking at the rim.
Outside Teague. And it's Dang in the corner. And that one goes long. New Orleans gotten off 4 three-pointers in the final quarter, and 2 of them have fallen. Clark for 3. That's in there. Davis with the assist.
I'll tell you, that's nice work, right? You move, you get into space on the perimeter, and you knock down the 3.
Now Teague. The dish now to Dang. Some reports claim, Doris, that basketball is the fastest growing team sport. Do you think it has a chance to overtake football as the most popular sport in the U.S.?
Well, listen, anybody who is covering and carrying the games of the NBA is thrilled right now. The ratings for the NBA are off the charts. It increases in popularity every year. But let's remember the foundational sport in the United States of America is football. And the ratings for football, the NFL in particular, still dwarf the NBA. But the reality is there are challenges that the NFL faces. What those challenges have on the long-term business success in terms of, the concussions and the long-term implications, we don't yet know, Kevin. And if we could all fast forward 10 to 15 years into the future, it'll be fascinating to look back and say, wow, this was a seminal moment for both sports.
Great perspective. Here's Nunley, and the Pelicans picked up 3 with their last shot. Teague against Jackson. Here's Nunley. Offensive rebound. Tolliver. Oh, and he misses the dunk. The Pelicans have gotten just under 45% of their attempts to drop in the fourth. 4 of 9. Shots good by Miller.
Well, everything starts with a great pass, right? That's really pretty.
Timberwolves leading by 23, and the Timberwolves call timing. And now the presentation of our Jordan Player of the Game, Karl Anthony Towns.
And he's provided them with a major mismatch on that low block tonight, that they've been able to lean on his scoring in the paint. And if nothing else has worked, he's given them a reliable option on every possession.
And as the star of this team, he knows he's going to be the object of the crowd's anger. New Orleans on D, and it's E'Twaun Moore with the foul. That's his first foul. Towns dishes to Tolliver. T kicks to Butler. And the league last season, Doris, looking to tighten up on the traveling calls. Think that's a move in a positive direction, and it's had a good effect?
Well, Kevin, I'm sure you agree with this. We want to see if there's a traveling violation, it should be called.
Yes.
We have given the offensive players enough advantages, and by that I mean we've made it less physical on the perimeter. You know, we've allowed for freedom of movement, and so I think anytime you learn from a kid, listen, if you pick up that pivot foot, it's a travel. In the past, I thought a lot were missed. What's your take on it, Kev?
I like what you said, and even more for the younger kids who are learning the game. They got to play the right way. It's got to be called.
That's right. Incredibly reliable as a scorer. He's always looking for ways to help the team succeed. It's happening again tonight.
For New Orleans, they've gone 5 of 11 from the field in the fourth quarter. Outside Mirotic. He kicks to Randall. Davis in the corner. Right side, Mirotic. Shot is good off the back rim and in.
Just deadly from mid-range. He's got such a great feel for that shot.
Teague with the ball.
New Orleans foul call. Anthony Davis. That's his third personal foul. Shooting for Minnesota. Jeff Teague. 2 shots.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
First free throw is good. Indoors last summer, we saw the inaugural season of the NBA 2K League. Over half the league's franchises fielding teams. You know, it looks to be the start of something very special and very unique.
No doubt, Kevin. And the NBA has always been an organization at the forefront of embracing technology. And the reality is there is a huge market for this. The younger generation gets just as excited with how their virtual home team is doing in the standings. Big things on the horizon for the NBA 2K League. And you better not square up against me, Kev. You got no shot.
Okay, I've recorded that comment.
Oh, the officials are all over that one.
First team foul. Shooting for New Orleans. Julius Randle. At the line for 2.
2 shots.
And the first one at the line is good. Both free throws good from Randall. Now here's Jones. Players going to great lengths to improve their performance and extending their prime years. We're seeing it all over the league. Doris, it amazes me.
I heard a number of LeBron James spending 7 figures a year.
Wow.
That's a 1 in 6 zeros to take care of his body.
No kidding.
Right, making an investment in your future. Understanding nutrition, to training, to recovery. Listen, you have a limited window, Kevin, to make money with your body if you're a professional athlete. So why you wouldn't want to extend that window as long as possible? You're playing a kid's game for fun, Kevin. Come on, let's lengthen it out if we can.
And Towns gets it to go.
Fact of the matter is, Karl Anthony Towns could be a menace on the glass. Good luck with this guy.
Tipped away. It's stolen by Jones. 1:57 left to play here in the fourth. At the top of the key, Towns. Passes it to Nunley. Puts it up. And again, it's Minnesota converting.
Assistant, Josh Okogie.
And there's 1:45 left in the fourth. Clark finds Randall. Pass to Holiday. Some changes for New Orleans, and Anthony Davis is checked in for Okafor. Heritage comes in for Miller, and it's Etuan Moore checking in for Ian Clark. There's 1:34 left in the fourth quarter. Outside Holiday, down to 5 on the shot clock. Down low. Oh, a nice defensive play to disrupt the alley-oop.
Yes, and with this one winding down, it's obvious to everyone who watched it. Just a total mismatch and a true show of strength for the Timberwolves.
You don't see this kind of a blowout often, but tonight this is a quality win across the board to deliver out this kind of punishment.
They definitely never changed the approach. They just kept after it and showed they were clearly the better team in just about every single category.
And so looking at their number, this will be win number 22 on the year.
And with this win now, we're all square, 1-1. 2 more games yet to come in what's proving to be a very competitive season series.
And you know, when you look at the huge impact he had, just a monster game for Karl Anthony Towns.
Boy, you couldn't help but notice how well this guy protected the rim. There was an intimidation factor thanks to his defense. No easy shots in his neighborhood tonight.
And so it's Randall bringing it up now for the New Orleans Pelicans. Miller kicks to Moore. Six to shoot. The pass to Clark. Fires the three. That shot off. The Timberwolves go the other way with it. Shot and game clock separated by 5. Pass to Towns. He can't get it to go. Randall with some nice D. Moore outside. So it's Minnesota winning this one easily. To come into an opponent's building and dominate the way they did tonight says, I think, Greg, an awful lot about this team.
I guess they don't need home cooking to feel at home. I mean, Kevin, just a masterful performance all the way around.
And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thank you, Kevin. Jimmy, you have become a star in this league, big part of the team. Have those expectations put more pressure on you individually?
No pressure. I think I'm gonna do what I do each and every night. I'm not gonna play well every night, but I just gotta focus on me, this team. Can't worry about the outside influences.
A real leader, Jimmy. Thank you for your time. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, great job. Thanks so much. And that'll wrap it up, folks. For Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan along with our terrific 2K Sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. See you later.